Welcome to Rock Your Block and today's segment of 495 Metro. I am your host, Trudy Richardson, and with me is my co-host, Edward Richardson. Today, we will share our ideas on how to create and personalize your personal development plan. As human beings, we have a need to progress and be better people than we were the year before. We have goals we want to pursue and desires we wish to bring to fruition. So pull out a pad, take some notes to help you get started. And I'm going to start today with a question. Can we all agree that we have one life, and that life represents our bios, our memoirs, and chronicle history of our past and the life we lead as a sketch of our character? Ed, can you please explain how the life we lead represents a sketch of our character?
Well, yes, because what people see when they see us, it kind of gives people an insight to who we are on the inside. For example, if you see, we all have that friend that's happy-go-lucky, you know, and you can think of somebody right now that you like being around, and they're just fun. They just bring energy and enjoyment to you. Everybody has a friend like that, or everybody should have a friend like that. I know you're my friend like that. And it says that on the inside they're pretty cool with themselves, and there's something coming from them. We may not be able to voice it, but there's something that's coming from them that makes people feel comfortable around them. So not everybody can be popular, not everybody has that kind of personality, but everybody can be cool within themselves, and they need to be, because in order to get get along in life and to go forward in life, you got to have an attractive psychology and an attractive personality.
And I kind of jumped ahead of myself. Again, I got my notes mixed up a little bit, but I call the year of 2015 the year of changed lives. And originally I was going to start with a question, and that question is to the audience: have you ever looked at your life and said, I want to make some changes, but I don't know how to get started? Have you ever had a moment of inspiration and you thought about, well, I'd like to join this volleyball team, or go to Toastmasters, or I'd like to continue my education, get a master's degree, or maybe you just want to have fun in life and have a new hobby and learn how to work on cars, or be a plumber, or fix computers. And the list can go on depending on where you want to take it, how big your dreams, your desires, your wishes are. And as life coaches, Ed and I set up today's show to encourage you to follow your dreams and your wants and your desires. And why are we doing this, you may ask? And as coaches and as people, Ed and I, we get enjoyment out of sowing, what we call sowing into other people's lives, inspiring people, seeing them take the information that we bring to them to give them happier, fulfilling lives. So Ed, can you tell the audience how coaching has inspired you and how it has affected our lives or your life?
Yeah, you know, I remember not too long ago, it seems like not too long ago, our son came home and he says, hey Dad, you know, I want to play basketball. Now, you know, 10, 11-year-old kid, I'm like, well, you know, there's a playground over there. Here's a basketball, go play. And he was like, no, you don't understand. I want to play for a team. So we did a little research, and we found out that there was some, you know, a rec league forming in our neighborhood. So we went up and, you know, signed up, and then on the little sign-up sheet that they had, there was a little checkbox that said, if you were interested in volunteering to help, you know, check here. So I checked the box because I figured, well, you know, my kid's going to play. At least I can do is pitch in and help a little bit. And next thing I knew, I had a team, and that was totally unexpected. Didn't see that coming. And so I went from just wanting to help my son to have some fun, learn how to play basketball, to now I had 10, 11, 12 other kids who were the sons of other mothers and fathers. They wanted the same thing for their kids. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to be doing this, I got to learn how to do it right. So I went and got some books on coaching. I started to, put together, an idea of what I could do and how to help these kids. And the inspiration came when I saw how much fun the kids were having being involved in that group activity and watch them grow, win a few games here and there. So that's when this a specific type of coaching, which happened to be, with athletics, turned into something broader and working with all kinds of people on all kinds of projects. And so hopefully that's the answer to your question for our audience here.
Well, giving the audience a little bit more information and piggybacking on what you said, I personally believe that coaching is in our DNA. And I say that is because I look back through the years of our history. And not only have we coached children, we've coached singles, we've coached married people, we've coached business people, we've coached friends, and anybody that comes our way and asks, we're positive people. We always feel like there is a way to do something.
Yeah.
And piggybacking on what you said about coaching kids, that really became almost a lifelong project for you, because not only did you coach our son for probably about 4 to 6 years, as soon as you finished up with him, our daughter came along and you coached her and her team for another almost 12, 13 years. Mm-hmm. And along the way, for me, I got involved in coaching when our son went to high school.
Why don't you tell our audience what you did? Because, the thing is people may look at coaching as being a quote-unquote title job kind of thing, but everybody has coaching ability. Everybody is coaching somebody either through their actions, as younger people observe older people, or people observe others whom they look up to and they become role models. There's a silent kind of coaching that's always going on. So the audience needs to kind of say, one thing, I could be a coach. I can help somebody, or I may need a coach. I may need somebody to hold me accountable so that I can, reach my goals and reach my dreams. Now, one of the things that I appreciated when I started coaching these young guys, these kids, was what you did. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you did? Because we'd come in after practice or after a game, and we found out some things about some of these kids, and just talk a little bit about that.
Well, the basketball was good, but I looked at these young boys that you were coaching, and I said, one day these are going to be young men. And unfortunately for these young boys at the time, they wanted the fun of basketball, but they did not want the sacrifice of education. And so there were 10 of these boys that were pretty much failing at school. And when you have no education, you set yourself up to fail at life. And so I took these young boys, because now they're in high school and they can't play basketball, the thing that they love the most, because they don't have the grades. So I took these 10 boys in our home, and I spoke to each one of them individually, and I set them on an academic course. Because I expressed to them that even if they didn't go to college, they didn't get a master's, they still needed a high school education to be successful human beings once they became grown.
At least a high school education.
Right. And so I enjoyed that, because I enjoyed watching these boys take something that they hated and despised and turn it into something that they love.
Why is it that kids sometimes view education as being so hard? What is it unexciting about education? How were you able to reach them and get them excited about education when maybe going to school just didn't do it for them?
I motivated them, and as you were sitting here talking about coaching, and I guess both of us are very competitive people, and coaching to me is a win-win situation. When I help somebody and I see them moving forward, I'm winning, they're winning. It's a win-win situation. And so my expression to them, I explained to these young boys where they were. And I gave them a picture, a vision of where they could be, what they could do. I remember one young man came to me, he said he couldn't do math, he couldn't do English, he couldn't do anything. And in helping him, the thing that he found out that he loved to do the most was math.
Interesting.
And he worked so hard on this math that he started coming to our house, I don't know if you remember, on weekends just to do math. And this young man eventually graduated from high school, went on to college, and he's an accountant today. So when I saw him about 2 years ago, and that was a win-win situation for me to see this young man remembering what we had done for him to help him be the person that he is today.
Now let's talk a little bit. I know I'm the co-host here, but you guys
That's
forgive
fine.
me. Let's talk a little bit about the enemies of coaching, because we have people watching and they may be saying, all right, that's great for you all. What nobody's encouraging me, nobody's coaching me, or I've tried to hook up with people and it just never seems to work out. What's going on. I think that people need to understand that there are enemies of coaching. There are people that don't want you to succeed. As harsh as that may sound, there are people, and you and I have both run into these people. I mean, gosh, even Michael Jordan was cut from his basketball team when he was in high school. So people have obstacles, some of them real, some of them not real, that are placed in front of them. And I think the thing that we do as coaches is that we really get to a point where we realize that the road to success is paved when you can remove barriers. For example, one of the coaching laws that we go by, some of you may have heard it, is called the law of ignorance. And the law of ignorance states that there is a time within any challenge or period of our lives where you will be ignorant to the solutions and possibilities available to you. And just because you're not aware of a solution or possibility
Absolutely.
doesn't mean that there isn't one. And people need to gravitate to that and understand you don't always know what you don't know, but you do, but there's somebody who does know what you need to know. And if you don't have the right attitude or the right point of view about a certain thing, and you just feel like, oh man, I'm missing something, there are people who can give you that point of view. It may be in a book, it may be in a story, but I guess people need to understand that there is some things that you need to overcome, and that's why you need a coach. And
we're getting ready to have to take a short break, but I'm glad you brought that point up, is that when you want to change your life, you have to identify the want to inside yourself. And so when we come back from our break, we'll talk about that.
Food. It nourishes, brings us together, and adds flavor to life. That's why it's important to wash hands, surfaces, and fresh produce. Keep raw meat, poultry, and seafood separate from ready-to-eat foods like fruits and vegetables. And cook to proper temperatures using a food thermometer. Enjoy, and refrigerate leftovers within 2 hours. For more tips on safely preparing foods, visit homefoodsafety.org.
Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block in today's segment of 495 Metro. We're sharing ideas on how to create a personal development plan and coaching. And so when we left right before the station break, we were talking about why you need a coach to help you get through with the haters. Would you like to go into more detail about that?
Yeah, to keep it real, there's some people that just don't want you to succeed for whatever reason. Maybe they don't think that you're the right height, or you're the right color, or you're the right sex, or you're the right nationality, or you're the right religion, or you didn't go to the right school, or you didn't do this, or you did it. There's always these people that have these fixed ideas about who should be successful and who shouldn't. That's the bad news. Mm-hmm. The good news is that books are filled with people who have overcome all kinds of odds in order to make a meaningful change and meaningful differences in all of our lives that inspire us because of the things that they've done. We talked about getting your inside out. How does what people see on the outside relate to who you are on the inside? And at some point, all of these people said pretty much, you know what? To heck with the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go for it, because the dream that I have inside of me and what is burning inside of me is bigger than anything that I could face outside of me. Mm-hmm. One scripture says, if God's for us, it's more than the whole world against us, and more than one person has proven that to be true. Mm-hmm. So once you can get some things settled on the inside and you have some laws to go by, then the path begins to become clearer. For example, if you understand that you don't know everything, then that opens up a path of discovery. And once you have the path of discovery, then the next law, which is the law of revelation, states that there will be a time with every challenge or period of your life when you move from ignorance of the solutions and possibilities around you to the awareness or revelation that there is more available to you than you previously realized. You may not be able to fully identify what the solution or possibility is, but you do have the revelation that it exists. One of the greatest resources we've had in modern society is something called the public library. Now we have Google.
Yes.
Google
everything.
We can Google anything. You can find out so much. So there's really no, whether you have a high school education or a GED, or whether you have a college education trying to make a change, or whatever your level is, you can research out what it is you want to do. You can find out other people who have done it. And sometimes if you reach out to these people, they will coach you, they will help you, because they want to see other people succeed. They already know the struggles and pitfalls. And that's what coaches do. Coaches take people who have a desire, and they're just like Michael Jordan. Hey, Mike, show me how I can hit that jump shot. What exercises, what drills do I have to go through in order to be great at this? It may be a teacher. What subjects do I need to study in order for me to attain my goal? It could be a pastor. Coaches come in all kinds of forms. You know, it could be just a good friend who just will not let you give up on yourself, like you are.
And that's one of the key things that you stated is getting started. Digging deep down inside of you and not letting anybody, anything, or anyone discourage you. Because I think we can all agree that we all have our own personal journey, and like breadcrumbs, we want to leave a trail of positive deposits in other people's lives. Not so much in pointing to people, do this or do that, but simply by the kind of life we lead ourselves. And so getting back, talking about thinking about the kind of life you want to live. Each individual has a right to live the life they want to live to make them happy.
Right.
And just like you were talking about Michael Jordan, if he had said, okay, well, this man is the authority, so surely he knows what he's talking about, so I'm gonna put my shoes up, put the basketball on the corner, and go and do something else. And just think if he had done that, a great man, that gift would have never been shared with the world. So as trying to get yourself into the position of how do you get started? One of the things I want to talk about is here's where honesty with self begins. And I think all of us, as we want to change our lives, we have to be honest with ourselves. And when I looked down that honesty road, I looked at all the negativity I had built up in my own life. And I remember taking a sheet of paper and drawing a line down it and putting all the negative thoughts that I had about my life, and then putting all the positive on the other side. And then I looked at it and I realized that one of the things that was keeping me from moving forward was fear. And doubts. Because through our lifetime, you know, you have so many people telling you so many different things in your life. I remember when I was in high school, and I went to join high school, and I went to see the counselor, and I wanted to sign up for my classes, and I wanted to sign up for college prep classes. Well, she wanted me to sign up for vocational classes because she said, oh no, surely you can't go to college. And in the time that I was raised, it had to do with race. But my race was not going to stop me. I had something burning inside of me that I wanted to go to college. And that's what I did. So talking about honesty, how can one propel themselves and move forward? What would you suggest to people to how to be honest with themselves so they can get started where they are?
Well, you know, we live in a society today where we have all these cliches. People, if you watch the news, people are stringing together cliches in order to say something, and what they end up saying is just pretty much garbage. But there is one thing that our audience really needs to understand, and anybody who's listening to us really needs to understand. It's this: when I was a kid and we moved from the country to the city, my grandfather moved with us. And I don't know why he said this to me, but one day we were just sitting down and he was talking and he says to me, he says, you know what, you don't really want to get into a lot of fights in life. He said, but if you get backed into a corner, he said, if you're trying to avoid a fight, run away. Just get out of that. Just get away from. But if somebody backs you into a corner and you have to fight, you better come out swinging and you better come out giving it your best shot. And what I learned from that, and there's probably a lot of people who have heard that advice, people are afraid to fight. That's the biggest fear that we have today. The truth of the matter is that if you want to get anything out of life, you got to fight for it. You just have to. And if people don't hear anything else that we're saying today, they've got to somehow find the courage to fight. They might be afraid, but fight anyway. You might get roughed up, you might get beat up, but fight anyway. Don't allow your hopes and dreams to die from a lack of courage. And once I think a person gets it in their heart and in their head that it's going to be a fight, then so what? So people are standing in front of you, so what? People don't like you, so what? People are hating on you, so what? People are plotting against you, so what? I'm going to keep going. And we have evidence of that. You know, people thought perhaps Mother Teresa was foolish, spending her life trying to care for the people in India. People may have thought Nelson Mandela was foolish for being in jail for 28 years. People may have thought, the Kennedy brothers were foolish for putting their lives on the line for what they believed in. People may have thought Martin Luther King Jr. was foolish, and on down the line. Even today, it's up to us individually to stand up for what we believe, become a self-leader, and fight for the right things. Fight for the betterment of everybody. Fight, get rid of these things that keep us from enjoying this one life we have to live. We have to fight for it. We have to. And once you make up in your mind that you're going to battle, 90% there.
90%, and I agree. You have to battle. You have to, in order for change, you have to battle. You have to dig deep. You have to want to sacrifice. Your want to has to be greater than any obstacle that your mind can create from you moving forward. And as we're talking today, because
can I use a basketball metaphor?
Yes.
One of the things that kids, when they first start playing basketball, and they're trying to get a shot off, try to score a couple points. Everybody's afraid of getting a shot blocked. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to shoot it, block your shot, okay? Once a kid is no longer afraid of getting their shot blocked, the game changes for them. If you know you're going to get your shot blocked, so what? I mean, going back to this idea of fighting for your rights, fighting for your dreams, fighting for your hopes, you're going to get crushed sometime. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're going to run into somebody who's just stronger, bigger, faster, and they are going to knock you out. Just don't stay down. Get back up. Keep coming. Just keep coming at them. Just keep coming at them. And eventually they're going to get tired of fighting you and give you what you want, what you've earned, what you've battled for. But you don't get out of this thing alive anyway, so what? Go for it. Just take your one life and go for it. Make something of it. Make a legacy for yourself. Dream big. And that's what coaches do. That's what we encourage people to do. We don't encourage you to do stupid stuff, but we encourage you to take your dream and figure out a way how to accomplish it. And then we help to open up options, open up perspectives that allow you to walk into what it is you want to accomplish in your dreams. That's what we do as coaches. That's not to even say we're perfect people, because we're fighting too.
Yes.
The only difference is that we're aware of what we don't know. And we know that there's so many great possibilities in life, and we want to try to help other people to reach those possibilities. Even if you're just fighting to make a change in your personality, it's something as silly as, it seems like every word that comes out of my mouth is not true. Okay, I don't want to be known as a liar. I want to change my life around so people believe that my word has weight. then you got to fight for that.
Yes,
You know, you have to fight for that. Or, you know, if you're a gossiper, if you're always character assassinating people, and you say, you know one thing, that's not right. If I can't say anything good about somebody, why say anything at all?
That's
but
true.
You're going to have to fight for that.
That's very true.
So, anyway.
And unfortunately, as we're wrapping our time down, I hope our listeners today hear our passion and encouraging you to get up where you are and get started. And as we go into the year with our show, I'd like to every show to come on and have something to coach people, to help them move toward a better life for themselves.
Well, as you know, there are actually 16 laws of success. And we have those in a little booklet that we prepared. We didn't write the booklet; it came to us, and I would hope that our audience, they would write to us, and we would happily, if they write to us and send us their email address, we would happily send them the PDF of the booklet, the 16 Laws of Success.
You want to give the address?
Well, they just go to our website,
which is
495metro.com, and we'll have a link there. And they can just click on the link, and actually I'll make it so that they can download, you know, the laws, and we'll download them. We'll put up a couple, and they can download them, and they can get on their own path to success. And then if they want us to help them in the coaching, then we'll do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, our time is up. I hope our audience enjoyed today's show, and we wish to thank you for joining 495 Metro. So until next time, stay focused and press on to being the person you were meant to be so you can live the life you were meant to live. Thank you.